There you go.
Okay, I guess we'll call the meeting to order. Marcy, want to do the roll call?
I can do it. William Metzinger,
Here.
James Schultz,
Here.
Gary Eder,
Here.
Marcus Joma,
Here.
Thomas Trudeau.
Here. Guess we'll go on to the next order of business, approval of the agenda, the amended agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Gary Eder makes
Oh,
a seconded by Tom Trudeau. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approval of the May 11th, 2026 Highway Committee meeting minutes. Anybody got any questions about them? If not, is there a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I'll make that motion.
Gary Peter makes a motion to accept. Is there a second? Jim Schultz?
Jim Schultz, yep. We'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Heather sent it the other day.
If not, all those in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Wait for Matt to come back in. Is there anybody on
Yep, you made it. All right, thank you.
for public comments? Is there anybody that is questions on public comments? No public comments? Then I guess we'll move on to reports and updates by the highway commissioner.
All right, good morning. Just you had asked last meeting for a tour of the place. I thought we had a fairly full agenda today, so I figured we'd kick it off till the next one possibly. Instead of taking too much time, so. Moving into the report, so employees, we did hire one full-time employee, David Lutz. We still have one full-time that we are looking for. We did fill all 4 summer help positions, so that's been good. Yeah, hopefully we can find another employee before winter. That's our game plan.
Stay here, Gary.
Any questions on, if you want to put your application in? Any questions on employees? Not, I'll move into the work. We've been doing a lot of crack sealing. We ran through GG south of Clam Lake. We're just finishing up and those 2 roads are both going to be chip sealed this summer here, looking toward early August. We don't have a set date yet, but getting them done. So after that's done, we will hit some of the other county roads. We have some to do for the city, town of Peaksville. So quite a bit of that. We've had a few culvert projects, mainly on town roads that we've completed. We've been mowing, doing some patching. I guess that's the main work we've been up to and what we will continue doing through the summer season here. I guess any question on the work?
I have a question. How many swats do you make as far as mowing?
Generally 2.
Yeah.
Okay, just two passes, one time a year.
Okay, and that just keeps the brush down.
Keeps the grass down at the edge of the road.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Not, I'll go into construction. State projects first. So State Highway 13, Glidden Butternut area. They are working on changing culverts. They did some bridge deck repair, which I believe is done now. They're currently building a box culvert north of Glidden there. I believe they still have some more culverts to change. Hopefully they can start doing a little bit better on their patching. Some of them were ride fairly poor. There's one, I think a couple of them that they have to redo for sure. That one boat throws you in the other lane. Not a real nice ride, but State Highway 77, that project is just getting started. The Devil's Creek Bridge will get some work. They're doing some culvert work, and then that will be resurfaced from Highway 13 out to the Iron County line. So then were the main state highway projects, county highways. Our County Highway H riprap project is complete. We submitted final invoice for that last year. I think it came very well, and I'm very happy with the dollar amount. You know, the bid came in at 1.8 million, which was, we had 900,000 in federal funding. We were planning to spend, you know, 2 to 500,000 of county dollars. We didn't know for sure. So after the bid came in at 1.8, we did some whittling down. We removed some sections of the project. We got it down to 1.5 for our contract. And then now with the final bill came in just over 1.2 million with all the quantities that were used. So I guess I was happy with that. It came down into where we wanted to be. So County Highway GG, the McCarthy Creek Bridge, that is almost complete. They have until the end of the month to get it. I'm hoping possibly by the end of the week it'll be open. Last week when I stopped in there, they didn't know if they would get it paved at the end of last week or early this week, and then they have to do some guardrail work to complete that guardrail and painting. That is getting close, and the bridge looks really nice. They did a good job on it. County Highway M, that was a county project that is paved and completed. County Highway GG paving, Northwoods was the low bid at 2.1. There's about 1.9 million in federal funding on that. They plan to start end of August or early September to finish that last 6.5 miles of paving from between Mellon and Clam Lake. So yeah, that's our county projects. Everything seems to be going pretty decent and on schedule. A couple issues I wanted to bring up on Madeline Island County Highway H. So there's a beaver issue in a culvert. It's the last culvert just before the end of the road out there. We've had a beaver issue in there for some years off and on. You know, we contract with APHIS, a federal department for our beaver control. They've been in there in the past. Well, what's going on now is that Madeline Island Preserve just bought a bunch of property right in that area, and they are not giving permission to go off of the right of way to trap on their property. They want to look into non-lethal methods of control. So I don't know where that's going to go yet. I believe they plan to fund any issues, you know, those methods that come up with to control the beaver. The problem with it, our culvert is, and then the road makes a 90, and then it's, I think, Schoolhouse Road, it's a town road. They have a lot of problems up on the road also. And but along H, if our culvert starts getting that, it's not, the water comes up and there's 2 little rental cabins just down the road that start getting close to flood stage. So we can't allow it to go too far. We have to take care of it, which we've been have had the town a couple times already this summer clean the dam out of the culvert to so the water can run there. So just wanted to give you a heads up. There's also another issue in the same area, just right at the end of the road, and it's an erosion issue. I don't believe it's a county issue. The county road ends and then it makes a 90 to that schoolhouse. The water comes down Schoolhouse and goes past the end of our road and drains out to the lake. Well, the lake has shoved a bunch of sand up there and changed. It used to just go straight out, basically plug that. So now it's running along the beach a ways and getting out. And it's eating back into the bank, which it's not, I don't feel it's not to our highway right away yet. And it's not, I don't believe it will get there, and it's not going to threaten our road, but the landowner there is making a lot of noise about it. They're losing their embankment there. So I'm saying it's a town issue. It's their water coming from their ditch that's causing it. The DNR says they can go and hand dig a trench out to the lake, but they cannot use equipment. Which is probably that deep of sand for 50 feet, it's not really something that's easy to hand dig, so. Town is taking the lead on it. Just wanted the committee to know if they hear anything from citizens out there that, we are aware of it. The town is working on it. They're working with the DNR on some ideas right now, so.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
We don't have anybody on the island that's actually working for Ashland County over there. So like when you cleaned out the beaver pond or the beaver culvert, did we have to send somebody from the county there?
We just hired the town in that instance. Sometimes we go out ourselves and do work, and sometimes if it's just we're busy and it's just, quicker, they're there to go. They have them take care of it, so they do all our plowing, mowing, that kind of maintenance. We go out there and fix signs, guardrails, cut trees. If a tree falls on the road, they'll take care of it, but we spent quite a bit of time there last fall going through and cutting everything that was dead or leaning toward the road to try to mitigate some of that problem, but yeah, that erosion issue. We'll see what comes of it. The landowner is saying, the town's saying keeps telling them, well, it's a lake problem, and they say, well, it's not the lake, it's not the wave issue. Well, it is, because it's pushing sand up, and it's just a natural occurrence. The lake pushes the sand around and plugs off the drainage here, and it builds up and finds a way, and it's going a different way right now, so.
Does anybody have any further questions for Matt?
Nope.
Guess we'll move on to County Bridge aid.
Yeah. You wanna take that one?
Sure. So the county bridge aid policy that you guys approved the last meeting, didn't line up entirely with the statute. So we took it to corporate counsel to ask, their opinion. And the two concerns that they had was that we were gonna levy before we had the petitions from the town, so I didn't do introductions. My name is Caroline Twombly. I'm the finance supervisor for the county. Sorry. That's who I am. That's why I'm here. So anyway, we took it to the lawyer, and her concern was that we were levying before we had the petitions from the town. So we're basically levying for something we don't have yet, which is not normally how the levy works and not how that statute is written. We would need to have the petitions first before we could levy. We then also, we all were thinking like, let's cap this at $100,000 so it doesn't become an expense. The statute doesn't allow us to put a monetary cap on our levy. So those were the two big things that we had to work around and change. And so what we did was basically kind of flip it and say, okay, petitions are due a little earlier in 1 year, and then they have to go to the county board for approval. That was her other thing, is we have to make sure that the county board does approve the actual petitions, since it will be a levy, and only the county board can institute a levy. So the big change is they put in the petitions, the county board will have to approve that in the fall, so that we can levy the tax, for the following year, early the next year, and then we'll have that money and the work would be done the following year. And her suggestions based on some of the policies we had pulled from like Bayfield County and Lincoln County, were that we put limits in other ways to kind of keep this from exploding, where everybody is asking to replace a culvert. And those limits that I wrote in was basically a 20-year limit. Like, we can't replace your culvert and then you come back in 5 years and want us to replace it again. We wrote in an exception to that where Matt could determine, or the highway commissioner would determine, if there were extenuating circumstances that caused that culvert to blow out before 20 years. We could look at doing that again. I put in language that I pulled from one of either Lincoln or Bayfield, I can't remember, but just said that, you know, the town or the county will cover, will only cover the like lowest cost reasonable option. So if a town, I don't imagine that this would actually happen, but if a town came in and wanted to do something really fancy with a culvert or a bridge, we're not gonna agree to necessarily pay for that. We'll help them cover the costs that it would be for, you know, a reasonable, safe solution. But if they want to put, I don't know, something fancy on their bridge, we're not doing that. Um, so those were the changes we tried to write in to try and put this into a box still without without putting a monetary cap on it, since we couldn't do that. And then making sure we're getting the petitions that you guys would review, and then it would go to the county board before we actually levy the money. It's still a 50-50 split, you know, that doesn't change. The only thing that would be a little interesting is when we have emergency repairs that need to happen that same year. In the statute, it's written that a town could petition at any time for an emergency repair. It goes directly to, I think it's the clerk and the highway committee, requesting that assistance. The only thing with that is it's still, you know, we do the repair and say somebody levied or petition right now, something blew out. It was an emergency and they petitioned for it right now. It could be approved. The work could be done right now. We just wouldn't be able to reimburse the town until early next year when we have the levy funds, because we would in theory petition it. And similarly, the county, if we did the work on that, the highway department would basically be waiting to be reimbursed by those levy funds the following year.
If this is approved by the county board and the highway committee, when can we first levy
We can do it for next year.
for the,
If it's approved, like you guys approve it today, goes to county board this month. We would have to get to the town and get our petitions in August.
so
So
we were talking for 27 or 26?
it'd be 27 from them.
27, so we can't, it's too late to do it this year
It's too late to do
for
it.
the
Yeah.
tax bill.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
This-
I mean, it would be. If we can get it done in July, petitions in August. It would have to go to the highway committee in September, county board for approval at your budget hearing. Budget meeting, and it would be levied in, you know, when the tax bill's coming out in December.
26 then. Yeah,
Yeah,
it would
I
be the
mean,
26 tax.
26 tax, yes, four projects in 2027.
So, I mean, this year, I mean, I think the reality is like, it's such a short turnaround. I don't know how many petitions we'd really get for this first year, but, you know, then subsequently.
We had a date on there where each town would apply. What was that?
Yeah, petitions are due by August 1st, which, you know, this year, you know, we might have to kick that date out a little, you know, September 1 or a September highway committee meeting.
What about as far as design? Is there any like stipulations? Say like FEMA, it's like replace.
Yeah.
Same.
So
To me,
I
that's backwards. So
Yeah. believe it's at the discretion of the highway commissioner and the committee to approve the project, yes.
Okay,
It doesn't say that they have to be in same.
okay.
And I wrote this update and I don't know anything about highway construction, so there are no stipulations on like,
Okay.
yeah, that kind of thing. Actual looks and design.
Okay.
So, you know, we talked about this before, we went to the towns, we got responses back from almost all in favor of a bridge aid policy. Town of Shannon Golden, Peaksville never responded. And town of La Pointe responded as no. The rest of the towns and the village of Butternut all are in favor of this, having a bridge aid policy. So yeah, it's basically up to the committee whether you guys want to approve this and send it on to county board for final approval or not. So
Just wanted to mention that once you get into this, you can't get out.
you can't get out.
You're locked in. So that's a big step.
Is
As far,
anything bad about it that you see?
The only downfall is extra taxes to the left property owners. I mean, you know, there's only a few counties in the state that do not have bridge aid, and almost everyone that I've ever talked to, it's a very positive things for the town, because the towns are always looking for funding. They're underfunded. And that's the biggest question I get from them is is there any money for culverts? And it's like, not really. You know, there's really no grant programs unless you do a whole big reconstruct. It costs a lot more, you know, to help them with their culvert work. So this is the one avenue I can see to help the towns out with culvert funding.
So if we okay it, then next meeting we'll have to look at the final version to present to the county board.
This is going to the county board here today, after today, if you guys approve it.
Do we know what we're approving?
This policy it was in the packet. It was written.
Okay,
So, yeah,
it's already been written then.
yes,
Yeah,
and approved by the Port Council.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
and it is very similar. I mean, that's like, it was just tweaking it
yeah,
to.
you're gonna have a few little revisions.
Yeah.
To do the order and.
Yeah.
So like that's, yeah, and they did sign off on this policy, the rewrite of it.
So
Okay, Matt.
you said, you were pretty much involved in that there and you kinda tweaked or wrote it up as, you know, with the lawyer's approval, doesn't, you know, most of the counties in the state have or are involved in this here, don't they have like a template or something?
So that's.
Is each county different or?
Every county is different.
Really?
Their
Yeah.
policies are all different. So I did take pieces from Lincoln and Bayfield to plug them in, just some.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really boilerplate language that fit what we were doing. But I will say, like, there was, you know, they consistently had like the 20-year time limit. You know, we're only doing, you know, the approach work of
100 feet.
100 feet, you know, like, so those were like really standard across the board things between those two counties, which is, and I think, Matt, you had a lot of that in here
Yeah, I
already.
had there's very little changes except for the fact that we were hoping to create like $100,000 fund and just draw out of it. And the lawyer said we can't do that. We have to just take the applications that come in and fund them. We can't have a fund.
Can we keep it in a non-lapsing fund?
We really will not have extra. We can't, that's what the lawyer said. We can't create a fund and then get the applications for the money. We have to just get applications and fund that much. And there's a possibility, I know Bayfield runs into it, you know, a town will ask for $40,000 and they only need 30, so they levied that 10, but they just add that to the next year's, take it off the next year's dollars, they levy that much less, so.
Does anybody have any further questions for Commissioner? Is there a motion to approve amended county bridge aid policy?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended bridge aid policy.
Motion by Gary,
Second.
seconded by Marcus. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried. Moving on to concrete waste site.
So I think I'm just gonna read this. This was in the packet. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at it. I'll just read this, what I had written. Finance Committee recently inquired about a county-owned site for concrete waste. The committee feels that a site may be beneficial to economic development in the county. Ashland County Highway Department currently maintains a stockpile area for reclaimed asphalt, pavement, and broken concrete generated from county highway projects. These materials are crushed and reused when practical for future highway and maintenance activities. The highway department has the physical capacity to accept additional broken concrete from the public. Before moving forward with such a program, I am requesting the highway committee provide policy direction regarding whether the department should accept concrete from the public, and if so, how the program should be administered. While accepting clean concrete could provide a convenient disposal option for residents and potentially increased amount of recyclable material available for future county use, there are several operational administrative considerations that should be addressed before implementing such a program. Items for the committee consideration include: should the highway department accept concrete from the public? Who should be eligible to use the site? County residents only, municipalities, contractors, commercial business, or all users? What materials will be accepted? For example, should the site accept only clean, uncontaminated concrete free of brick, dirt, wood, garbage, excessive reinforcing steel, or other debris? Should there be limits on load size or number of loads accepted? What documentation, if any, should be required from individuals using the site? If the committee wishes to make the site available for public use, staffing availability will also need to be considered. Due to current staffing levels and workload, the highway department does not have personnel available to monitor the site during regular business hours. For that reason, any public disposal program would likely need to operate by appointment only, with the highway department employee present to verify acceptable materials, direct where the loads are placed, and ensure the safety of both the public and the county operations. Additional considerations include protecting employee and public safety within an active highway facility, preventing unauthorized dumping or contamination of the stockpile, maintaining records of users and materials, establishing procedures for rejecting unacceptable materials, ensuring the program does not interfere with highway department operations, and determining whether the department has the resources to administer the program on an ongoing basis. At this time, I'm seeking the highway committee's discussion and direction on whether a public concrete disposal program is something the committee wishes to pursue. If the committee supports moving forward, staff can develop a proposed policy outlining the eligibility, acceptable materials, operating procedures, scheduling requirements, and other administrative details for further future committee consideration and approval. So I guess what I want from you guys is direction. You know, is this something we should pursue? Is it necessary? Is it? I don't know,
What are people doing now?
I believe, there's a disposal site in Ashland, and I see Northern Interstate Construction has one up kind of by the bus barn. They take some concrete. I know a lot of the gravel pits will accept concrete, they'll crush it up at a later date.
Do they charge for doing that? How much? Or
I don't know that for sure. I would say for clean concrete, they probably don't. Maybe Marcus has a better idea.
I'd say most do.
They do?
Roughly $50 a load.
Okay.
Pretty normal.
Do you feel that, Gary?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a philosophy on this. If you build it, they will come, and when they come, you're not gonna have any idea what they're bringing. I'm a real pessimist about this idea. The cost to the county could outweigh the benefits, because simply, who's gonna, like Matt said, who's gonna monitor this situation? I'm at home and I'm gonna bust up some concrete. We don't know what it has in it or doesn't have in it. Who's gonna let me in? I just think that if there's private ways for them to get rid of it right now, I think we should stay out of it. That's just my opinion.
So, my question is do any of you, and maybe especially Marcus, I know he's in the business, and maybe Tom, you're in business also. Do you think, is there a need for it? Does it pay to spend the time to do something? Will it get used, I guess?
I'm not directly involved because my concrete people do it, but I continue to hear complaints that they have trouble finding places to dump it or people to take it. But if you looked at that Ashland site, that thing kind of got out of hand for years. The big mess it was, and then they blocked everything off and cleaned it up.
Yeah, just a little bit like Gary said. As far as like maintaining and having someone there and what's coming in, and
Yeah,
that's just, I guess, one big thing to think about. Is that
So-
worth it?
so we, up on County C, just up here, we have a site where we have a pile of material. It's all fenced, gated, you know, they can't get in there. So, I mean, if we were to look at something, I mean, we would have to have somebody open the gates, you know, make sure they're bringing us material that we can actually use. You know, do we want to spend the staff time to do this? I guess it's just I'd like direction from you guys on.
I feel as though it's more of a like city of Ashland problem than the county, cause the county has less concrete than like the city would, but. That's just my feeling.
You're entitled to an opinion. What, do you have any preference one way or another, Matt?
I really don't. I mean, if it's something you guys think we should pursue, we can work on a policy to put it together. If the committee feels like it's something that, like Gary says that we shouldn't do, I'm perfectly fine either way. I mean, I do have a concern, you know, if it's gonna be used a lot, how we are gonna take care of it. I mean, we're always short of people. What are we gonna do?
That's, I mean, from a finance perspective, like that's my concern is the staff time it takes to address that. And then if it does get out of hand, or, I mean, if we have somebody who shows up without an appointment and just like dumps their crap in front of the gate, you know, then we've got cleanup costs and time, and that's where I start to get nervous, just from a finance perspective, because that is a cost to us.
And if it fills up quick, then you.
Yeah, I mean,
Find another spot.
at this time, I
And
mean,
at $50 a load, it's not a lot of money.
yeah. You know, I mean, would it even the area, you know, like you say, the city's gonna generate the most of it. Are they gonna wanna haul it all the way to Highbridge here? I don't know. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I really don't know that.
Does this have to be approved by the county board if we approve it now?
I think it's a highway committee issue. That's my opinion, because it's our people, our property.
Does Gary, do you have a input on that?
I think Matt's right, it's probably a highway committee decision. Well, my only concern is I've been involved in situations where we've opened up things in the town. And there was no way to monitor when people were dumping stuff off, what they were dumping off. It got to be so out of hand, that I just don't know why. I know where this came from. It was one individual on finance, and that's fine, but then maybe they should come to the highway committee and get their opinion. But I just think the highway department's got enough stuff to do without taking on this.
I can see a problem too. Somebody brings a load of stuff, they got a big heavy load and it's rejected. And then what? What argument develops or fisticuffs?
Yeah, no, I mean, there would have to be a very clear policy
Yep.
that we can stand behind.
Is this something that we would, if we decided to do it, would we want to put a 1 year trial basis, and if it's not working?
I mean, that's a
You know,
possibility.
is that a possibility? And then if it's filling up, well, then we'll just stop it after 1 year, you know, or do you just not want to do it? Does anybody, any
I
committee?
agree with these other ones. I don't think it's feasible right now. Like the staffing and all that stuff, it just doesn't sound feasible.
Does anybody want to make a motion one way or another?
I make a motion, we table the issue. Is that
Well, if we
what you're
table it,
looking
then
for?
no, if we table it, we gotta bring it back sometime. It's either
Yeah.
yes.
Bill, actually, if there's a motion in a second to do it, that's okay, but if nobody wants to do it, then it dies for lack of a motion.
Yeah, I agree. I rescind that previous comment.
Okay, does anybody want to do anything about this?
No, I'm concerned about the staffing and the cost and. You know, I think it's more of an Ashland problem. Or not problem, but the majority of it's gonna be generated there, so they've got their spot and. I just as soon not do anything with it.
As chairman of the committee, I'd like to make a motion that we turn this request down. What?
Don't think you as the chairman can make motions.
Why not?
I'm not the committee member.
Huh?
I guess I don't know. I mean,
What do you think, Gary?
Again, if you're gonna do nothing, then don't even make a motion, because you don't need a motion to fill it. If there's no motion, the item is filled.
So it's dead.
Okay,
Agreed.
agreed. Okay. I guess that's finished with that. Now moving on to the 2027 capital budget.
if you look in your packet here, I have a budget narrative. So starts with the road improvement. So our proposed project for next year is County Highway F, Birchwood Lane east to the Iron County line. It's about 3.3 miles. This section of road is I don't know, it's moving around. It heaves pretty bad. There's probably some rock dig outs that need to be done. Generally with our projects in the last quite a few years, we've been just doing a mill and an overlay. We mill off 1 inch and we overlay it with 2. This section of road, I would like to do a full depth pulverize, just because I don't believe the underneath portion it would just recrack how it is. A reflective cracking would come back through. So that does bring the cost up some. The estimated cost is 1.6 million, basically. We do have $262,000 of LRIP funding for that section. So that the county's portion is about 1.3 million for that project.
Where is this money going to come from?
Debt levy. We generally debt levy in that $1 million to $1.2 million range for highway projects every year. So this is an ask of 1.3.
This would be our main project for the year.
Yeah, it would be our basically only construction project.
It needs it.
Yeah, it's
rough.
it's pretty rough, yeah.
Highway 13?
Yeah.
I did have engineering firm go do some soil borings, and they did a pavement analysis of what my thought was is we should go and put a gravel lift over it and have that pulverized in. But their analysis shows that we shouldn't add gravel. We should just pulverize it. It'll actually be a stronger surface without basically diluting that pulverized material down. So I had thought it would be more beneficial to add a little bit, build that base up, but according to what their recommendations are is to pulverize it and pave it with 4.5 inches of new asphalt.
Are we going to do one package motion? Or do you want to do this individually, or how do you want to do it, Matt?
Probably just, yeah, total. I mean,
Okay.
this was given to the finance committee at last month, and it's coming back up on Thursday for revisits. So that is our road project. For vehicles, we try to buy 1 plow truck every single year. $370,000 is the estimate for that vehicle. We are planning to still continue to build them ourselves. If that money comes out of that 370, but it does, I believe it's helping to hold our costs down. We are not yet finished with our first vehicle. We are waiting. The box is at Ashland Industries for painting, and it's been there for some months. I don't know. We need to see what the holdup is. I've asked a couple times and I don't really get a straight answer, so.
How's the second one coming?
We haven't started it yet. We're waiting to finish the first just because of for shop space, but. And I don't know if all the parts and pieces, the truck is in and I believe most of the parts are here. I don't know if 100% of the parts are here yet. So yeah, it is something we need to get done. The first one and started on the second. I believe we can still get the second one done before winter if we can get started here soon. But this would be for that next truck for the next year. The next ask is a supervisor truck. That would be for our patrol superintendent. We try to move these vehicles through every couple years. With this one, he would get a new truck and then his truck would go into his current truck would go into the fleet. We would trade in one out of the fleet. We have a 2014 Dodge. It's getting a bit old and should probably get rid of it while it has a little bit of value. It doesn't have a lot. We're figuring about $8,000 of trade in.
Do you get one of these every year?
We try to, yes. Yep.
So how many do we have now?
Well, so the commissioner vehicle is 1 year. And then his generally passes down to the shop superintendent, so he runs it for 2 years. The commissioner goes for 2 years, then it goes to shop superintendent for 2 years, and then we trade it in at 4. The patrol soup vehicle we buy on the next year, and he runs it for 2 years, and then it gets into the fleet, and then we pull one out of the fleet to trade in or sell to replace his vehicle. So we have, there's the 3 supervisors drive one, the commissioner and the patrol soup and shop soup, and then we have like 2 or 3 in the fleet. I think 3. Yeah, the foreman drives one, and then there's 2 that are generally used by the flaggers. So
Does anybody have any questions?
then we are proposing to purchase a mini excavator. We're budgeting 200,000 for this. With that, we would get a brush head and a grapple bucket attachment. We would use it in the wintertime. We do a lot of cutting trees along the county highways. We put a shear head on our excavator and we feed them trees into the chipper. Currently, we're using a skid steer for that. And it actually works pretty good, but we chew up like 1 set of tracks every winter on that blacktop. It just grinds them right off. I think an excavator, the mini, would work a lot better and feed it better, safer, just more efficiently. Also, with all that brushing, if anybody's drove GG in the last few years, I think we took about 8 winters to cut between Clam Lake and Mellon to cut that back. And it's very nice, but now the brush is growing. When it's getting to be a little bit too high, we've tried to go in there with our track machines with a brush head, and it just shreds the tracks. Them stumps are so hard, yet it's a lot of maple and hardwood stumps. Just shreds the tracks. You can't. So the thought is to put a head on this small excavator and be able to sit along the ditch line and get some of that brush cut back before it gets back to unmanageable where we have to shear it off again, get it while it's small enough. It's also, we have a use for it, cleaning our own culverts. That's one of the complaints we get. A driveway owner is responsible for their own culvert if it goes bad, but the ditch line is essentially the highway department's responsibility. Well, if our ditch doesn't drain correct, then it holds water in their culvert and their culvert doesn't last, so. You know, we have bigger excavators, which, you know, they have steel tracks, they damage the road some. This would have a rubber track, just a smaller footprint to get in there and take care of some of these drainage issues. So there's just many ways we could use a mini excavator. So
How long does something like this last?
I believe it would last us 20 years here. We wouldn't put enough hours on it to wear out in a very short time.
Do we get any kind of road aid for doing that, cutting the brush?
I mean, if we're working on a state highway, we're getting paid by the state to do that, you know, time and equipment. On our county highways, it's just part of our maintenance program. We're not getting any extra funding per se.
Does anybody have any questions about this? If not, we'll move on.
HHS vehicle, did we decide if we're leaving it in highway budget or that was some talk where it should go?
We've not heard anything about
Yeah,
that.
so
My thought is yes, it's staying with you guys.
okay.
But-
So currently we have three vehicles that HHS that highway owns. We own them, we maintain them, we provide a gas card. They pay us mileage to do that. So they've requested a minivan to trade in one of their current vehicles for a minivan. Right now they have small SUVs. I don't know if they're Escapes, I think, or some two Escapes and an Equinox. The problem is if they have a family with more than a couple kids, 2 kids, they don't have room to put car seats and accommodate the family in a vehicle, so they would like a minivan. So we feel that the process of us owning the vehicles it's been working out for us. And HHS is also very satisfied with that, as they don't have to mess with, we watch them, we have you know, we can look at online to see how many mileage, to track the mileage. We'll calling it under schedule. Somebody will grab it, bring it down, change the oil, change the tires, do whatever it needs to be done. So it's a pretty good program, I think, for both departments. It's been working out, so.
Has all these changes here, have they gone to the finance committee at all?
They reviewed them, they didn't make any decisions. They were supposedly Thursday's meeting, they will review this again and see where it goes from there.
Has anybody got any questions about the minivan? No?
Any questions about any of the equipment? I mean,
How much money you got in the checkbook?
It's actually Matt's money that we're spending, so.
you know, the revenue for equipment comes out of our equipment use. In the past, quite a few years ago, we used to debt levy for equipment. That changed and we actually had to pay a bunch of money back, and it's still in the memory of some board members. They think it's still that way. You know, they say, well, it's adding to the levy. It's not, it's all out of department revenues from equipment. So that pays for it. So it doesn't change our request.
Does anybody have any further questions? If not, is there a motion to accept or deny this to the finance committee meeting on Thursday?
You're gonna make that motion to bring this forth to the committee to accept it, correct?
Second. Seconded by Tom Trudeau. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Next item is highway department county vehicle use.
So this was brought up at a recent exec meeting, and I want to discuss it here among our committee. That the exec is going to be revisiting it at their next meeting, and hoping the committee can review our vehicle use here and pass their support or recommendations on to the exec committee when they next meet. So here again, I would like to, I wrote up a little thing here and I would like to read it to the committee. At the recent executive committee meeting, the use of county vehicles was discussed. The committee requested that departments provide information regarding their current vehicle usage for further discussion at a future meeting. The highway department maintains a fleet of vehicles that are utilized by employees during normal working hours to perform daily operations. In addition, 3 vehicles are assigned to employees for use outside of normal working hours. These vehicles are assigned to the highway commissioner, patrol superintendent, and shop superintendent. When the patrol superintendent is unavailable, a foreman may also be assigned a county vehicle while serving in that role. The primary purpose of assigning these vehicles is to provide an immediate response to emergencies. These positions are responsible for responding 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to weather events, traffic incidents, downed trees, flooding, roadway hazard, equipment failures, and other emergencies that affect the safety of the traveling public. Allowing these employees to take county vehicles home significantly reduces response time. If employees were required to first drive their personal vehicles to the highway department to retrieve a county vehicle, valuable time would be lost during critical situations. In many cases, the first few minutes of an emergency response are the most important in protecting public safety, minimizing damage to county infrastructure, and restoring safe travel conditions. County vehicles are equipped with the tools, radios, emergency lighting, and other equipment necessary to perform these duties safely and effectively. Personal vehicles do not provide these capabilities and are not intended for emergency highway operations. The current practice also improves operational efficiencies. Employees can respond directly from their residence to an emergency location rather than making an unnecessary stop at the highway department. This results in faster service to the public, reduced delays, and a more effective use of staff time. These vehicles are assigned solely for county business and emergency response. They are not intended for personal use, and employees are expected to comply with all county policies regarding vehicle operation and use. This practice is also consistent with the operations of county highway departments throughout Wisconsin. Highway commissioners and key supervisory staff are commonly assigned take-home vehicles because of their responsibility to provide 24-hour emergency response and oversight of county highway operations. Maintaining this practice allows Ashland County to operate in a manner consistent with other highway agencies while ensuring that emergency personnel can respond quickly and effectively whenever needed. The highway department believes the current practice has served the county well for many years. It provides a timely and effective emergency response, supports the department's responsibility to maintain safe roadways at all hours, and ensures that key personnel have the equipment necessary to perform their duties. Based on these operational needs, I recommend continuing the current practice of assigning take-home vehicles to those positions that have 24-hour emergency response responsibilities.
Does anybody have any questions for Matt? Go ahead.
Is there a concern from the executive committee?
It seems, I wasn't at the meeting, I did watch it online after, and it seems there is a concern. I wanted to address an issue that came up last year with myself regarding county vehicle use. So some of you might know, some might not know, I am a chair of the town of Kelly. So, which is just over the line in Bayfield County. Last year, we had a highway project on Maple Ridge, a road project that got paved. Washburn County was coming up to paint the lines of that roadway. So I ran over there in the morning, about 8 o'clock, with my county truck and showed them what I wanted painted. I was seen by a county board member, and that was reported to Dan, which Dan talked to me about using that vehicle. So I wonder if some of that stems from that incident, you know, is that a personal use of the vehicle? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I do deal with the towns in Ashland County on a, not daily, but a weekly basis. I answer questions, I look at stuff with them. I felt it's another governmental body. Yeah, it's not in Ashland County, but I didn't feel it was a big deal, but if it is, I mean, that's fine. I just want the committee to know. I also wonder, I use that road often. I live right off of it. I meet up with Jake Benson from Bayfield County almost on a monthly basis. We carpool and go to meetings in Spooner or throughout the state. So we leave whoever's driving or not driving, we leave the vehicle at their Mason shop, which is right at the end of Maple Ridge. So I'm guessing I'm seen driving that road more often, and maybe it's a concern or not a concern, but just I don't want to hide anything. I want to be open and upfront with the committee. That's what's happening. Also I'd address, Kim Rickel is my patrol superintendent. And this happens more so in the winter than any time. His kids are in sports, say basketball. His kids have a basketball game in Mellon at the school. Oftentimes he takes the county truck to that game because he's responding to, with winter before, during, after. He's out checking roads and talking to the plows, and sometimes he gets a call and he has to leave during the game. Sometimes right after the game, he's gone. It's really not a use. I don't see it as a personal use of that vehicle. He's attending his kids' games as much as he can, but also trying to take care of the county business as much as he can. So
I'm on the executive committee too, and neither case was brought up at the meeting.
it was not, but I
Well,
wanted to address.
I just kind of wanted to let you know that neither thing was brought up. Does anybody have any comments on this?
My only comment is that somebody like the commissioner lives like 30 miles away or something, but I mean, if everybody's close,
Yeah.
common sense should overrule,
I mean, my house is about 14-minute drive. It's closer than if I lived in the city of Ashland. I live west of Sanborn, about 2 or 3 miles.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm just saying, because the
Yeah.
only way
Yeah.
I could see not allowing it is if somebody lived,
Mhm.
over by Brule or Iron River or something.
Sure.
You got any comments, Marcus?
Is there like a motion that's needed for this? or-
Well, right now it's just discussion for
This discussion, what I'm looking for is committee support to give direction to exec, if there's any changes needed, or should it continue in the way, or like that, do you want to add well, we really don't have a vehicle use policy at this time, but do we want to add language that you must be within 30 miles of your reporting state? Some guidelines is fine, but
We're having an executive meeting on the 21st.
So what was the concern then?
That some people were using the vehicles more for the personal use rather than any county business. And it just takes one to do this. And I know I don't want to say anything as far as what happened in the past, but I know of one particular case that I personally know of where the individual was using the county vehicle for his own use. He was going to visit his family or do something in the southern part of the county, and he had a county vehicle, and it was on the weekend. And so he shouldn't have been using the county vehicle. He should have been using his own vehicle.
I agree.
And in that case, yeah, well, maybe there was, but if it was on Saturday or Sunday, there was no emergency and his job did not require immediate response. But that was something, I don't know if the finance committee brought this up, that we should look into this, or how it got to the executive committee, I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure either, but I don't think it was coming out of finance. I just recall that being a discussion point at our last meeting. I will say, like, this is one piece of, highway use of vehicles is one piece of county vehicle usage. The county doesn't currently have a vehicle policy. Personally, we probably should have one, just because common sense isn't common. And it's a good way to explain to your employees who use pool vehicles, not people who have vehicles assigned to them for specific reasons. Like, these are the appropriate uses of a vehicle. Like, no, you can't smoke in them. No, you can't do this, that, or the other thing in them. Just because some people don't have that sensibility. And so it's a good way just to, these are the guidelines.
If such a thing came up that the county employee that has the vehicle used it for their own personal use.
Mhm.
Is there any way of reimbursing the county, or do you have to get permission or anything?
I mean, as she's just said, right now, there is no policy in place, but. You know. My thought is we shouldn't be using it for personal use. I mean, that shouldn't be happening. But. If somebody did get caught in there, does there need language to for that? I don't know. That, I mean, it's
So
possible.
there should be some kind of language for what you said about taking it on a weekend in the middle of the summer with the storm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there should be some
There should be, but I mean,
disciplinary language.
you're gonna start on that and that book's gonna be
Yeah.
about 6 inches thick. By the
Yeah.
time you get, well, you can stop and,
Mhm.
you can get some water or something, but it's kind
Is
of.
there GPS in the vehicle?
There's not in them.
I know one employee that worked for the county was, someone had called and said that they were at a picnic site in Iron County with their kids. And what was he doing there in Iron County, taking his kids on a picnic?
Yeah.
And I don't know, we don't know, so I guess
Yeah,
if there'd be some type of language that,
I agree. I don't think there's abuse within our department. I mean, if there is, I haven't ever seen it or know of it. And if you guys know of it, please let me know because I don't agree with it.
Hey, Bill,
Go
Bill,
ahead.
we really don't wanna have this as a highway department use, it's a county use. And here's the biggest problem with the vehicles in the county. Say we give somebody a vehicle to use for county business, and they live in Watford like Denver did, or like, Matt lives, that's fine. But say we hire someone who lives in Appleton, and they wanna drive home. That's where this is a county-wide problem. And so I don't wanna pick on the highway department, because it's not the highway department, it's a county vehicle use policy that we need to develop. And just let everybody in the county who drives a county vehicle, know that here's the rules, just abide by them. I just don't like the fact that it looks like we're picking on the highway department, not to want a policy that works for anybody in the county, any department that works. It's for whatever the rules are, and we follow them. I don't think it's a highway problem.
Yeah,
Thanks, Gary.
thank you. I mean, I don't necessarily think it was totally aimed at the highway, maybe a little bit, but I want, the highway committee to provide information to exec on what you think should be in this policy.
I have another question for you. Do you have any idea how many miles that each of those people put on during the year?
I mean, I don't have it off the top of my head.
Just give us a figure.
I think myself is in that 15 to 20,000 mile range. The patrol superintendent is probably closer to 30,000. The shop superintendent, I would say, is much less. He is maybe, I don't know, 10 to 15.
I don't keep track of his is hourly.
Okay.
We only keep track of the miles. I mean, we would have meter numbers, but we don't need to keep track for this shop superintendent.
Do we need to make a motion as far as if we viewed this or the committee viewed this and we're in acceptance of what you presented to us and we don't believe that?
I mean, I wouldn't mind a motion to codify that the three highway commissioner, superintendent, shop superintendent, patrol superintendent, shop superintendent continue to have vehicles provided to drive home for emergency response.
Is there a motion of that effect?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion, go ahead, Jim.
Bill, you can verify this, but there, this is a scab that gets picked every so often by different communities. I know Ashland went through it a number of years back with the fire chief and chief of police. A certain somebody has an agenda and doesn't want any perks or, and they went through it too, but what I was gonna ask is, in 2016, we basically had the perfect storm.
Mhm.
Can you give us a little breakdown as far as how your vehicle was used along with the patrol superintendent, how that tied in for the quick and immediate response, if that,
So I
Help
was
the
patrol
situation.
superintendent at the time.
oh, okay, yeah, I
So,
suppose.
Emmer was the commissioner. I responded to that, I think around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. And I was up until, I don't know, 10 or 11 the next night, responding to that emergency. But yeah, I mean, I guess that when I first responded, I could have made it here to get my vehicle, but after a while, I couldn't get here anymore. I got stuck on the north end of the washouts.
You had one of those vehicles,
I
you
did,
were
yeah.
the
Yeah,
patrol superintendent then, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was all night long, I had my crews out, I was on the radio and the phones and directing.
Right.
I think dispatch called every couple minutes with a new report. It's kind of a blur, but yeah, but we respond to emergencies. I mean, that's a huge one, but we respond to trees down, to car accidents, to, snow events all the time, I mean, it's the other night, there was a windstorm on the way home. There was a tree on 112. I stopped. I carry a little chainsaw, a little electric chainsaw. I buzzed the top off, threw the top off. I mean, I didn't have to call one of my crew out to come special, make a trip over there
Mhm.
to do that. I could take care of that myself, There's a big tree across the road, then I would get help. But I mean, I just nipped it, got the top off the roadway and
Right,
we're all safe to go again.
the way it sounds, it's in them kind of cases, it's very beneficial to have
I think
access
so.
to, that kind of immediate,
Yeah,
since you've been commissioner on any of the other emergencies in the past, how many years, you feel that the response is
mhm.
immediate and,
Yeah.
warrants?
Yeah, and then in wintertime, we all take, we have to check the roads. Patrol soup gets the bulk of it. He's assigned to take most of them calls. The other three of us, with the foreman being in that rotation, take one weekend a month. But if dispatch calls, we have a call rotation that goes to the patrol superintendent first. And if he's doesn't answer or not, not available, it goes on down the list to the rest of us. We need to have a vehicle ready to respond to them issues as quickly as possible.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Any further questions? Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the vehicle use for the commissioner, patrol superintendent and shop superintendent. As stated here.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Gary Eater. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. And like I said, if you hear of anything where you think we're using them inappropriately, please let me know as soon as possible. I mean, we don't want to do that and we want to deal with it as soon as.
Are you going to be available for the finance committee meeting on Thursday in case they have any further
I
questions?
do plan to be there, yeah, because they want to go over this capital budget again, so.
Okay. Moving on. To the post office lease.
Actually,
Adopt
Adopt a
highway.
highway.
Oh, pardon me. Adopt the highway application.
so I had a request recently about an adopt a highway segment on the county highways. And, you know, I've been here since 2013 and we have a few segments, a few signs on GG. But I've never had a question or we've really never done it with it. I think there's only one group, like Spider Lake Group, that actually cleans up and lets us know when we go pick up the garbage bags when they're done on the county section. There's more on the state highway section, but so I was looking for any information on whatever. I really couldn't. I did find an old application and that's about all. So this is basically, I redid the application in the packet, just to update it. It's the same as a lot of the other counties in the area around. I looked at their applications and it somewhat closely mimics the state program also. So just looking for approval for this new application and the terms and conditions, I guess, for this. I'm thinking maybe we will do a little advertising for it, you know, on our Facebook page and whatever, see if we can get any more segments. You know, I like it when people go clean up our highways. It makes them look better and
Does the county have any liability on this?
I don't believe so.
Is there any further questions on this?
I'll make a motion to approve this application.
Is there a second to that application?
Jim will second.
Jim says Schultz accepted. Second that.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.
Moving on to the post office lease.
Yeah, so Dan and I were notified at the end of last week that the post office would like to get out of their lease again. I don't know. I've tried the guy left me a message. I've returned his call a couple times. I haven't got a hold of him personally. They're claiming something. They looked at the site and they think it needs a $200,000 retaining wall. I don't know what, where, why, no idea. Their proposal to us is they will pay us all in costs incurred plus the 1 year of the lease agreement, which would be approximately, I haven't run the numbers totally, but about $50,000. Say 40,000 in costs, and I think the lease is 8 something, so in that range.
Could they put the post office up first? And then worry about the retaining wall?
I don't know.
Check first.
Yeah, I mean, the site is pretty much ready for them to drop a, you know, portable building that they wanted to put on there. There's no reason for retaining walls. I have no idea what or why they're doing this or what they're talking about. The lease does stipulate there's the former lease that they backed out of had a 5-year guarantee. The current lease has a 10-year guarantee. But they're asking to be released from it with, you know, paying all of our costs plus a 1-year lease.
Do they plan on going to a different site?
Hey, Phil.
I-
Phil,
Yes, Gary?
yeah, here's the low and down, and I commend the highway department for doing everything they did and putting up with this fiasco. That we got the first site ready, then they wanted to change, we changed it. Then they wanted to move across from the apartments on the other side of the bar. And that was one of the proposals. Then they didn't like that. I think that they will pay us back everything that Matt says they owe us and pay us for 1 year lease. We cut ties with this. The post office, in my opinion, is the most BS department in the federal government with how they handle this. Matt has gone well and above to suit their needs, and they keep changing the rules. I think we settled get out of it and tell them, go wherever you wanna, build it somewhere else, who cares? But we've stuck a lot of money into it, and if we can get our money back in that 1 year lease, say, take it and just wash our hands of this, because it's been a total disaster.
They keep asking for along our other driveway, if they can have that site, and I tell them no, I mean. For two reasons, one, that someday I think that could be used for another county building if needed, but also. That's our main truck in and out here, and I don't wanna put the post office traffic in with our main traffic, so. Just for safety reasons, I'm not interested, plus. I didn't wanna sign another lease with them, I don't trust them.
We already have a lovely site right here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is there any way that somebody from the post office can come and meet with you in person? And then you can show them, maybe somebody's sitting someplace and that they have no clue what the heck's going on, you know, and what the county has done so far, and
There was a surveyor out there after we redid the septic, but they didn't come and talk to us.
like I said, I've tried to make contact with this person, which he's not. A post office employee, he's a consultant, but I haven't been able to get him on the
Is there
phone.
like a area director for the post offices around here, like?
I mean,
Somebody to,
the Ashland postmaster is kind of in charge of
Right.
these smaller outlying areas, I think, but.
Gary, do you have something to add?
Yeah, this gentleman who's, and that's right, he's a private consultant, he's in Washington DC. I just think that we have spent so much time and energy, and again, I commend the highway department for everything they've tried to do. But this post office is not willing to figure out what they want. I think they cut ties with them.
I mean, you know, our former committee member, Marty, you know, he just lives down the road, and he was very strong about wanting a post office in the area, back in the area. And I agree with that. It'd be great for the residents. So we tried to do everything we could, but I don't know how to.
fool me once, and you rejoice in.
Go for 3.
Yeah. I mean, they basically walked away from that lease. And we didn't do anything about it other than we contacted our legislators and made a little stink. So they came back and said, okay, we don't like where the septic is. We'll pay you an extra 5,000 to move the septic and redo the lease. And now we redid the septic. We said we would by May. We got it done, and now, well, they want back out of it. I don't understand at all.
I really think that people in the area would like a post office back. And I think it could benefit the people in the area. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, all through the years here, I was a firm believer that Marengo should have had the new post office. You know, this was already 20 years ago because of the population center between Ashland and Mellon. They should have concentrated on Marengo spot, you know, a long time ago, but you know, that's water under the bridge. What I wanted to know is what can you use? Do you have any ideas what you're gonna use this nice site for?
We don't, I mean,
Okay, nothing off the,
if some entity wanted to come in and had an idea for it, I'd be open to it. I mean, it's there, it's got water, power, sewer to it.
right.
I don't.
New coffee shop?
I sell a lot of coffee. Gary, do you have any recommendation what we should do then?
I think you could instruct, because I've talked to, Dan, I've talked to this gentleman from Washington DC. It's obvious that they haven't got a clue what they want to do. The post office threw him back west. I think we say, whatever Matt says they owe us, we send them that amount plus the 1 year lease, and we cut ties with them. It just, we're wasting way too much time on Matt's time. And he's already gone way and above what needed to be done. I really don't think the post office or this consulting firm knows what they want. I think we should just say, Matt, figure out what they owe us. Make sure they pay us that, plus the 1 year lease, and tell them, okay, if that's the way, go find another site.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion or have any further questions before a motion is made?
Would this have to go from here as a recommendation to full county board? I mean, it was approved by full county board, so
Yeah.
I think it would.
I wouldn't be afraid to flop your figures either, so, okay.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to kind of accept their offer of the 1 year and Matt's money back. And cut our ties with them.
We have the money up front. If they wanted a wall.
I mean, I believe we shouldn't sign off on it until we have a check in hand.
I second the motion.
There's a second by Tom Bordeaux. Gary's motion. Is there any further discussion? Just what is the motion? Go ahead. Repeat yourself, please.
I mean, the motion is for the 1 year lease and whatever money the county has spent to be reimbursed with that and then cut ties.
Everybody understand the motion?
Yep.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the last comprehensive plan that's on the agenda. Is there anything for the comprehensive plan?
No,
Okay. If not, is there anything for future agenda items? This bridge thing needs to come up for the next meeting, or it's going to come up to the county board,
it'll go
right?
to the full county board, yes.
County board meets on the 28th of July. So is there anything else that possibly needs to be brought up at a future meeting?
USPS update.
Okay. Put that on the agenda. Comprehensive plan.
Yeah. We'll have this.
Okay. If not, or do we want to schedule another meeting? Is it too early?
So. We have to turn in our operational budgets by early August,
July 31st.
July 31st, yes.
That's
You know,
really
that
early August.
we're not completed with that yet. I
Okay.
don't know if the committee wants to meet on August 10th we'll have it submitted already, but to review it and approve it. Our operational budget or not, so.
What about the 3rd?
August 3rd,
Yeah, if it says the 31st of July, is the 3rd better to have it then than another week later? When is the finance committee or whoever going to do that?
They don't have a date set yet, but I'm hoping it'll be sometime kind of mid-August so that
Okay,
we have a chance to
so
actually review
the
them.
10th would be okay?
I think so, yeah.
Or the 3rd? We usually meet on a Monday.
we
Same
usually meet the second Monday, which would be the 10th. But
Either of them work for me. Both of them do.
Marcus?
Don't.
The 10th works for me.
Marcy said she's gonna be out on the 3rd.
And the
Oh, the 10th. Does anybody have any objections with the 10th? Okay, 9 o'clock on the 10th. If there's anything that needs to be brought up or any suggestions, let Matt know by June 3rd.
Yes.
Oh, is there any other business that needs to be brought up? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
Jim Schultz makes a motion to adjourn,
Second.
second by Tom Trudeau. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.